Well over 100,000 people come into London Transport canteens every day. They come at all hours, for they take their meal breaks when they can. A good meal, well cooked and pleasantly served, helps a man to do his job efficiently. That's what the canteens are for. But what lies behind that plate of food that's now doing the bus conductor so much good? The story of how that plate was filled began perhaps by the sea, when this morning's catch was rushed to London while it was still fresh. Or in the docks, where cargoes from all over the world are discharged onto London's dinner plates. Or in the English market gardens. They are the beginning. Then there are the great markets. From them the food comes to London Transport's food production centre at Croydon. Here the food is delivered in bulk. And here it is broken down into manageable amounts, joints instead of carcasses, rashers instead of sides of bacon. Croydon doles out the supplies, and they are weighed, allocated, and checked down to the last ounce. Croydon is the main store for all London Transport's canteens. And here, too, there's food preparation on a big scale. Machines help, but human skill helps more. Pastries, meat pies, cakes and rolls, as well as many other things, are made and cooked here, and sent out to the canteens ready to be served. Every day at Croydon, vans, which are specially fitted with racks for trays and separate compartments for fish and meat, are loaded with everything that the canteens need. These regular deliveries ensure that the canteens get their supplies when they want them, fresh and in perfect condition. The canteens. There are nearly 200 of them. They range from great canteens at the works, catering for hundreds at a time, to small ones for just a few people. There are mobile canteens which serve out-of-the-way spots. There are vans which take a hot meal to men on jobs which even the mobiles can't reach. The canteens need trained staff. At the Baker Street Training Centre there are courses which prepare people for their new jobs or for promotion in the canteen service. And it's the canteens which are the object of all this work. Food supply, preparation, staff training. It is here that the hungry, tired men get their meals, made and served by the canteen staff in surroundings which are comfortable and modern and pleasant. And the work of modernizing the canteens is going ahead fast. The new ones are bright and airy and refreshing, roomy and well lit, with tiled floors, light metal chairs and tables for easy cleaning, and modern counter designs. And behind the scenes, where the work is done, they're just as good. These new canteens are designed to make things easier for the staff who work in them.
But what about the other side of the picture? I've been 10 years in canteens, 8 of them in this one. It's lovely now since it was done up, but some of you may be going to an old canteen. There's not more than 20 like this out of 200 or so, but what with restrictions and things, it may be some time before they're all done up. I always say, tell the people the worst, and they'll be ready for anything. For instance, in 1 or 2 places, there are rough old floors like this. You can do them with a mop and bucket, but I like the good old-fashioned way. The new floor will be tiles when it comes, but you've got to do the best job you can, haven't you? There are other problems, too. Some people in the past seem to have had some very funny ideas about where to put a stove. Perhaps they never needed to open their oven door to see how the dinners were coming along. For this steward, though, it's all in the day's work. He's got used to it here, and so have the girls. It's a funny thing, but some of these old canteens are the friendliest, in spite of the difficulties. There always seems to be the chance of a laugh or a joke. These crews are sitting in one of the smallest canteens we've got. You may have thought the old canteen looked cramped, but what about working in this one? Well, it wasn't even built as a canteen. It used to be an old lock-up garage which has been converted. They've done the best they can with it, but the kitchen is so small you can only just turn round. From that small oven, the cook has to turn out 40 or more hot meals a day. You could have a bigger oven, of course, but then where would you put the cook? The crews come in at all hours of the day, some for a hot meal, some just for a cup of tea. But there's company, you know, in a small canteen. The men'll spare a minute to have a word with you. In fact, they treat the canteen more like home, and they even remember you when they're on holiday. I've always found that a smile makes the work seem lighter, and a friendly word goes a long way. But whether the canteen is an old-fashioned one like this, or in a modern building like this, it's in a small canteen you realise how useful your work is, and how much it must mean to the crews to be sure of a square meal and a rest whenever they get the chance. Now there's another thing. When you're doing your training, you'll find everyone helpful and friendly. But then Baker Street is a training centre, and it's the instructor's job to look after you. They show you what to do and how to do it. And when it's time for you to leave for one of the canteens, you'll get a cheerful send-off. But an ordinary canteen isn't a training centre. So if on the day you get to your first post you feel a bit lost, don't let it worry you. They'll be matey enough as soon as they know you've come to work with them. Just take things as they come and have a bit of a look round. Then find the changing room and go and take your coat off. It'll probably be the only time you'll have the mirror all to yourself anyway. Remember, running a canteen is a busy life, and the stewardess can't do everything at once. If she hasn't time to show you round straight away, well, give her a chance. Just get on with the work. After all, your training will have shown you what to do. It's just a question of getting to know where the things are. You'll soon get into the way of things and become one of the family. There, what did I tell you? Canteens are ever so matey. You might even say crowded. Talking about cloakrooms and restrooms, these vary just as much from place to place as anything else. From large modern rooms like this to small places where you have to take the key. There are one or two places with showers, while in other spots there's a crush to wash your hands. Still, it's not always the finest surroundings that give you the best friends in this world, I've found. Equipment varies too. At some of the older places you'll have to make do as best you can. I've heard people say that old ways are best, and that chips made by hand taste the sweetest. But when you're dealing in tons of potatoes and millions of cups of tea, it's the machine that does the work in the quickest time that's going to be your best friend. Now, some of you may be wondering about the customers who'll be coming to your canteen. Well, putting it bluntly, I think us canteen assistants have a lot to put up with. Not all dinners pass over the counter that sweetly. Take this chap who's coming into the canteen now. He's tired and he's hungry, and he's just come in for his dinner break. And look at the time. You can't expect him to be reasonable if his meal's not just as he fancies. And he doesn't intend to be reasonable either. Grumble, grumble, natter, natter. Really, there are times when you could push the food in his face. In the meantime, there are other things to worry about. But don't expect him to be satisfied. Like as not, he'll go off grumbling, just like my old man does. Now, the table he fancies isn't clean enough for him, and she ought to know he always sits under the window. In fact, the whole canteen service is properly in for it today, as far as he's concerned. Never mind what he says. Let him talk and get it off his chest. A soothing word at the right time will work wonders. Anyway, he won't be really happy until he's got his dinner inside him. You've got to remember, too, that he very likely is tired. Driving a bus in London's traffic's not my idea of a rest cure. It's much the same for the other workers, those who do the 1,001 jobs that help to keep London transport going, day and night, all the year round. So because the transport jobs never stop, you're going to get customers who work strange hours and people who are just tired out. Some people, when they're tired, can sleep. Some just natter. Well, I never. Just look at him now. You'd say he was thinking of going up for another helping, but it's simply that he's got what he fancied in the end. Now it's inside him, he'll feel a different person altogether, and by the look of things, the washing up's going to be an easy job. A chat with his mates, or maybe a game of dominoes, and he'll be off to take over his bus again as though nothing had ever happened, and at least you can say that he went away satisfied. So you see, by coming into Canteens, you're taking on a useful job. Whether it's a large canteen, or a small one, a new canteen, or an old one, handwork, or machinery, the men need food, and so they need your help.